Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We're Screwed. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash and Andy Andrews. How y'all doing?
Doing good. What's up?
But
How you
tonight,
doing, motherfuckers?
tonight we're going to be talking about probably what everybody's talking about: the second assassination attempt of Donald Trump. I'm not going to waste time going into what happened and how it happened and all that. Y'all know that by now. When I first thought about doing this episode, I was going to go through a whole list of all the shit that the Democrats have said, all the stuff that is so like leading their people to do this kind of stuff, calling him a threat to democracy, calling him Hitler. I mean, the whole litany of stuff. I was going to go through all that stuff. And when I do a show, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. I do research on it. I try to figure out what I'm going to say and what approach I want to take and all that kind of stuff. And one thing not a lot of people probably know is I also spend time in prayer before every episode to make sure that what I'm saying is what God wants me to be saying. Now, I don't always say it the way that God probably wants me to say it. I get a little fired up, rambunctious, and I got a dirty mouth sometimes. But I try to make sure that my messaging is in line with, what God wants me to say. And usually I'll get a feeling about it that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be talking about. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm telling you guys, God's been working on me. He has been working on me something fierce this last week. And the Spirit of God has moved me in ways that I can't even explain to you. And it's going to sound crazy and all that. And I didn't even really want to talk about this tonight, to be honest with you, because it's kind of so far out there. But I'm kind of getting that feeling from God that I need to. So that's what I'm going to do. The message basically is that you cannot stop God's chosen president. That's the message. You've tried to indict him. You've tried to impeach him. You've tried to assassinate him multiple times. You can't stop him because God wants him there. God has his hand on the United States of America right now. This is his country. It was founded as his country, and whether you like it or not, that's the truth. And Jesus is alive and well here. And he's got plans for us. And the plans that I saw are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. Now, there's going to be some rough times coming. Right before the election, right after the election. In the beginning, it's going to be rough because these demons aren't going to give up easy. They're going to fight. And that's just the way it is. But I don't want to spend a lot of time tonight talking about the riots, talking about the hate, talking about all the stuff that we know is going to happen. Okay? Because what I saw in prayer this week is much, much more powerful than that, much more important. And that's the plan that God has for after the election. Once Trump gets in office. Now, I can't give you full detail and all that, not because I'm trying to be secretive, but just because I don't have everything. I saw little flashes, little glimpses. And what I saw was absolutely amazing. I saw a brand new form of energy that is going to be discovered, that's going to solve the energy problems of the world. It's going to be amazing. I saw new cures for stuff like cancer and all kinds of diseases that are crippling people and killing people now. I saw those cures being developed and people living that would have died. I saw the economy going absolutely gangbusters, better than anybody ever thought it could, to the point where we start paying off this crazy debt and everything. I saw prosperity and joy and happiness and love and people getting along together. It was amazing. the plans that God has for us. But we got to get through this little rough spot first. I wish that I had more details. I wish that, like I talk about this new form of energy. I have no idea what it was. I just had the feeling and the thought that there's going to be a new form of energy that comes. It's going to change everything. And the cures come from the earth somehow. I don't know what it's going to be, but I saw cancer being cured. I saw all kinds of terminal diseases going away. I saw people being healed of stuff that there's no way to heal them from. And it just blows me away, man. And so my message tonight is, yes, we got some rough times coming. Yes, there's going to be a fight, because believe me, this is a spiritual battle. This is not a battle between the Democrats and the Republicans. That's what it looks like. That's what everybody thinks it is, but it's not. This is a spiritual battle between the demonic and God's people. That's what this is, for the very soul of America. Now, when I tell you that they can't stop God's president, I mean, they're not going to be able to kill him. They're not going to be able to stop him from becoming president if we do our job. As believers, if we get out there and we vote and we get this man in office, there's nothing that they're going to be able to do to stop it. And they're mad. You can tell that they're mad. They're going crazy. They don't have their masks on anymore. They don't took the mask off. They don't care if you know what they are anymore. They are openly saying that they want this man dead. But they're not going to succeed. When I was in prayer, God took me to the story of David. How King Saul tried to kill David. Multiple times they tried to kill David. But that was God's chosen king. And God always gave him a way to escape. He always gave him a way that he could get out of there without being killed. We all know the story of Daniel in the Bible. And how his friends were in the furnace and were perfectly alive and fine in the fires of the furnace. God always protects his people. And you may not believe it, and you may not understand it, but Donald Trump is God's David right now. He is the one that God has chosen to save America, because this is God's country, and he's not done with us yet. I saw things better. I saw all the people who have been doing this stuff, who've been hurting people, and all the shady stuff that they're doing. The honeypot schemes, the blackmail schemes, the stuff that they've been doing to children, all that stuff. Judgment will come for them. And I'm not talking about judgment once they leave this earth. Yes, they'll get that too. But there will be judgment for them on this earth. All of that stuff will end. What creeps around in the darkness will be brought out into the light. And you will all see exactly what's going on. And you will all see exactly who it is that's doing all this stuff. I saw Democrats. I saw Republicans. I saw everybody being punished for what they've done. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that the Democrats are the evil ones and the Republicans are the good ones, because it's not. That's not the case. 95% of them are dirty. 95% of them, at least, are evil people, man. And their plan for us is not a good plan. They want to destroy us. They want to destroy this nation. and make all of you slaves. But God said, no, he's not going to allow that. This is his country. We are his people. And he ain't done with us yet. So I know usually by this point I'm screaming and hollering and jumping up and down and cursing and all kinds of craziness. I just don't have it in me today. To be quite honest with you, it's difficult for me to even talk about this without crying. You know, I've cried more in the last week than I've cried my whole life. And for those that don't know, who don't spend a lot of time in prayer or who aren't Christians, when the Spirit of God, when you're in his presence, it messes you up. At least it messes me up. It overwhelms my heart, my soul. I end up blabbering like a little girl. I'm just crying. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. It's something that once you experience it will change your entire life. You know, and I'm not on here trying to give you some grand prophecy telling you that I can see the future. I'm just telling you what came to me while I was in prayer. And it was powerful. And it was vivid. And it was more real than anything I've ever seen. And it was amazing. So my main message tonight is that we got to get through this little bit of time where it's going to get pretty nasty. But on the other side of that is a beautiful, amazing tomorrow. On the other side of that is no more war. On the other side of that is acceptance and love and peace. And it's going to be amazing. On the other side of that is prosperity like you've never seen. Because one thing, when God blesses you, he blesses you in abundance. And he wants to bless us. He wants this country to be successful. He wants this country to be the shining light on a hill that Reagan spoke about. We were that once, and we can be that again. Just don't give up. I know that there's a lot of you out there who are feeling beat down. A lot of you out there who are feeling overwhelmed. And like you just can't take any more of the crazy because it's just so nuts right now. God wants you to know that he's here. He's with us. And I'd ask you, Lord, I'd ask you to make yourself known to those people. Let them feel your presence, Lord. I can feel it right now. I'm getting a little choked up right now. I can feel God in the room right now with me. And I ask, Lord, that you let everybody feel that feeling. Especially the unbelievers, Lord, the people that don't even believe you exist. I pray that you make yourself known to them. That they have an experience to where they can feel you. They can feel your love. Because I'm telling you one thing, if you've never felt that before, it's the greatest feeling that you'll ever know. And one last thing I'll say real quick before I hand this over to somebody else is be very careful whose side you're on here. Because it's very clear and very obvious which side is good and which side is evil. It's very, very clear. All you have to do is look at the policies. The people that want to murder babies, the people that want Trump dead, the people that want all this horrible stuff all the time, the people that are always calling for violence and trying to hurt people. They're the ones who are on the wrong side. And judgment is coming. And it's not going to be a civil war. I was worried about that. I was asking about that in prayer because I was really honestly worried that that was going to end up happening in this country again. And God put my heart at rest about that. It's not going to happen. We're not going to have a civil war. He's not going to let it get to that point. So just realize that God's hand is in this. And they're not going to stop Trump. I'm not worried anymore about them killing him or assassinating him. I'm not worried about that anymore because I know God's got it. God wants him to be the president again because God has a plan for us. And I know this probably isn't the show that you thought you were going to get from me tonight, but I am an obedient servant of my Lord and Savior. And when he wants me to talk about something, when he puts it on my heart to talk about something, I'm going to talk about it. And in my own self, in my mind, I was going to come on here tonight and rant and rave. I was pissed. I was going to come on here and go through a whole list of all the times that they've said stuff that causes this kind of violence. That's not what God wanted from me tonight. He wanted me to pass this message along to you. So I've done that. I love you guys. I'm going to throw over to whoever wants it. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I mean, to be completely honest, I didn't know much about this attempt. I mean, I knew it happened and stuff like that, but I've been working like some mad hours lately, so I didn't go into it too much to, really see what happened, but I got the gist of it. And, it's kind of funny that you're bringing this up because just had a long conversation with one of my customers that came in the other day. And I have like the weekends at Ghost City right now. Every weekend we're doing some kind of, well, we're calling it spooky weekends. But, I'm having like, some guys are coming from Ireland that have a paranormal team. And, I was talking to one of them on the phone about all the craziness over here and stuff like that. Then, I just have, documentarians coming, just different people each week. And where I'm going with this is one of these people, or actually she is she's a psychiatrist, but she also studies parapsychology and demonology and what goes on when it comes to people that either get attachments or sometimes it's just, mental. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. And then she goes deeply into talking about how people can be so influenced by the media and influenced by Hollywood and, and having people that are using these things and stuff, man, and go out here and they're, they find some kind of sensationalism in demonic activity when really, as we all know on here, demonic activity is very subtle, very sneaky, and will use whatever it needs to reach out and do whatever disturbance that it wants to do, with end result usually being, if it's a single person, they just want to snuff you out. They want to pull you from God and they want to snuff you out. And that's what they wanted to happen. And we were talking about politics and how the media has pushed people to the point of such like just what happened. You know what I'm saying? To the kid up in PA. I mean, they don't have it all out yet. And, go back as far as JFK assassination when he was going to call out the CIA. And then you have, these people, man, that are if you remember right, you had oh crap, the guy from Lincoln Park. Anyway, he all of a sudden, man, Chester, all of a sudden, no issues. But did you know that him and Chris Cornell were both kind of running they were going deeply into child trafficking and getting ready to blow out the names of these people. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden they come up suicided, and everybody around them's like, there was no, nothing leading them to think that these two guys would have done anything. And it happened, within a year of each other or even less than that, So the things like James was talking about, all the child trafficking and the little things that are hurting kids and, all these evil things that are going on out here in the world and stuff like that, they are definitely not the work of God. And if you have somebody that could possibly get in that position and to stop this stuff and to blow it wide open, so you're giving it hits, why wouldn't it do whatever it can to stop you? It's the same way where I've been trying to tell people, we were just, and this was all the same person I was talking to, like the paranormal field, man, all the fighting and stuff like that that's going on in the paranormal field and stuff. Has anybody ever thought the possibility is we're so close to proving without a shadow of a doubt, nobody could actually, say it was false or say it was made up, of proving of the existence of life after this plane. And that would possibly prove the existence of God. So why wouldn't something that does not want people to get close to God get in the middle and cause all this chaos and ego and all this stuff to just keep us from getting to that point? You just had, was it NASA, wasn't it? Or who was it? I believe it was NASA or somebody, but they had all these theologians that they hired to come in and help them because they were going to be able they were going to pretty much prove the Big Bang Theory. Now that they can look out so many billions of light years or whatever. And, what is the big deal with proving things? There's nothing wrong with science and space exploration and stuff like that. But why has it become such a battle against anybody that wants to bring God and country together? And it's like, I agree. I think that there's something way more behind these attempts and way more behind why they hate him so much than just the fact that he's going to blow all their nastiness and all the filthy, foul, nasty stuff that they are doing behind the scenes that have really nothing to do with politics. The trafficking and the, exploitation of children and the whole 9 yards. And I'm just using, that's just one thing, and, there's somebody had the other day, we're talking, and, I listened to some podcasts at work and stuff like that. And there was two people on there that were talking about in the last couple of years, they have had run-ins with people that had solid black eyes, the typical what we know as demonic. And these people, man, were actually, one of them was in she used to be in the Church of Satan. And once that happened, she had nothing, didn't want anything, she did it more as a social status and thought that made her cool. And, but then when the real deal hit and they started talking about the fact of how she became a Christian and started to really dig deep, went over to Jerusalem, went all these other places, And she said, there is a reason that we are seeing more and more and more demonic activity, and we're going to see more because it's almost like the veil is starting to just almost thin completely out. And, you know, and she brought up politics, and she said, is it because the very evil of this world is getting ready to get a hit, you know what I'm saying, if he gets elected, you know? But I started thinking on that, and think about, man, I have friends that I've been friends with. Some of them I've played music with over the years, stuff like that, that are anti-Trump. You know, they try to say that they're anti, you know, government period because they don't want to, you know, they don't like Harris, they don't like Trump, stuff like that. But yet every fucking thing that they post on Facebook is anti-Trump. You know, they never call out the other side when they're doing stuff. And I always end up in there with a debate with this one of them, especially because they are putting up stuff that is just so irrational and so dumb sounding, but it's feeding that hate. And I asked this person the other day, I said, will you really sit back and tell me, man, what is it that he has done when it comes to political things he's done? Not the whole supposedly raping and all the stuff for the taxes, none of that shit. Tell me what he did while he was in office that you are so pissed off about that you even made the comment that too bad the guy didn't miss, or too bad the guy missed when it happened in PA. You know, this person is a good man, and I could not believe that he would even post that when he said it a month ago or so. And he could not give me an example on what Trump did and as a law or a bill or anything that he passed or did while he was president that was so foul to hate this man as much as this person does. And sure, he's got a big mouth. Sure, he's got an ego. Sure, he's got this, that, you know, some things he says, I'll kind of just shake my head at, you know what I mean? But the thing is, it's not enough for me to hate him. And Biden, I don't hate Biden. I don't hate Harris. I don't like him, but I don't hate him to the point that I'm wishing death on him, that I'm hoping that he croaks while he's in office, and hoping that she, you know, gets run over by a car or parties too hard and dies or something like that, you know. I don't look at it like that and never would, man. So what is driving? I asked him, dude, what is driving you so hard, man, to hate and to be consumed, man, with, like, every single day? He admitted that he spends hours looking up anything he can find that's anti-Trump so he can post it. And I said, you're consumed with hate, and hate doesn't come from God, brother. That's what I told him. And he's like, you know, he got kind of quiet. His demeanor started sounding a little bit different and stuff like that. And, you know, I haven't heard much from him today other than ask me how things were going and stuff, because he's talking about coming up and taking a tour when he has a chance to. And you could just tell that at least all we can do is sow a seed or say something and leave it at that, man. And that's exactly what I think the best, and I'm not trying to preach either, but I think that was one of the best examples that I've had happen in my life, where I've talked to somebody and to see that at least their wheels are turning a little bit, you know what I'm saying, or slowing down a little bit with the hate. But the thing is, man, and it's the other side too, just like you said, man, it's not just the Democratic side. There's Republican, far out there extremists, man, that just hate. Like, they would literally, if they could get by with it, would go down the street and run over anybody that was standing in their front yard with a Harris sign. And come on, you know, it's like, come on, what is going on? Sure, I get all righteous and stuff about it sometimes, just like tonight at my shop. I'm sitting behind my desk in my office. somebody came in. They were asking if the manager was on duty. I said, yeah, I'm right here. They come in and they're like pointing their finger at me and everything. And this, I said, whoa, what's going on? The Republican Party, or the Republican chapter of Gettysburg, was set up. I'm like in a corner. So they were set up in the very corner. They weren't anywhere, maybe half of one side of my window front. They had a tent up. They were handing out constitutions and stuff like that, little booklets, and then Trump stickers and stuff like that. Wasn't even pushing Trump, wasn't trying to talk. They just hand out this pamphlet, I guess, for people to read, And this person was so freaking irate that they were talking about going out there and punching this person in their face. And if I had a knife, I'd slit their effing throat and all this. And I don't even know who this person was. And I eventually asked them to leave. But what drives that hate? And I said, well, what did they say to you that was so bad? And he said they didn't have to say nothing. I'd just seen that name. Do you really think, man, think of the people out here and think of yourselves that feel so much hate against a person, but think about the feeling that you get when you see a Trump sticker or you see a MAGA hat. You know what I'm saying? That feeling of hate, if you hate him like that, or even for a Republican that sees a Harris sign or a picture of her pops up, check yourself at that point to see the hate. Your whole body language changes, your whole blood pressure changes, everything. That is not normal. So there is something, man, out there pushing for us to hate each other and to make such division, and it sure isn't God. So there you go. Anyway, that's about all I got. So go for it.
Three things that are pushing it: Baal, Moloch, Baphomet. Those are the three things that are pushing it. It is the spirit of Baal, the spirit of Baphomet, and the spirit of Moloch. It is demonic oppression. Like I said, this is a battle between God and evil. It's playing out here on earth. We are the battlefield. It's playing out in our hearts, in our minds. But it is a battle, a spiritual battle. It's not flesh and blood, just like the Bible says. That's what's going on here. And that's why I say be very careful whose side you're on. You better be on God's side. That's all I got to say. You know what I mean? Because ain't none of us bad enough to do anything to him. He's going to win. His will be done always. The Bible says every knee shall bow. But that, I just want to say that real quick. That's exactly what it is. It's those.
And then they bring in people like Corey Feldman to play such music. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to know, and I want to say, sir, no, is that I'm sick of all of this. This is why we're not getting along right here. And I don't care if you like Trump. There's and the thing is, I read about Trump's thing about Biden and Harris. They called him, was super nice to him, and he didn't even want to attack them today. And he said he's not going to. There is something going on, yes, and I agree with that. But if God's best pick was Trump, there's my problem. I'm sorry, I don't agree with it. This is what I'm talking about. Trump, let's get this going. I'm not supporting either of them. For the last 10 years it's been, Trump won. People were pissed off, said Russia this, Russia that. He didn't cheat. Somebody did try to get the election, just like last time somebody got involved with the election. But I heard this same rhetoric 4 years ago, and it didn't happen. Just like they were going to overturn the election, what happened with that one? It didn't happen because the people of Q blasted this crap. And I'm not sitting here saying that anything James is saying is wrong. That's what he believes. That's totally fine. But this good and evil crap is what the problem is. One side, like you're saying, is bad. And guess what they're saying about you right now? The same shit. It's not just regular Democrats. They say the same shit about Republicans. Now, I don't agree with what's going on in this country at all. Trying to kill somebody is ridiculous what happened. And it was, and sorry to tell you guys this was a Kamala Harris voter. But in 2016, he voted for Trump. Remember that. But he was a registered Democrat. He was. He admitted it. This one, they can't lie and blame it on a Trump supporter and whatever happened. This one happened, but they knew 12 hours before that he was lurking around, and this is the other crazy thing. This guy's been in and out of jail numerous times. And just like what happened in California with the fires, one of the fires was started by some guy that was 34 and kept getting in and out of jail for the same shit. This is the stuff that's going on. Now, they said the same shit with Ronald Reagan, and he ended up winning. They tried to kill him. They killed JFK and his brother. Excuse me. They killed Abraham Lincoln. This isn't the first time this has happened. And Lincoln, that wasn't the first time they tried to kill him. And what he just did is a proven point of what I'm talking about. I could show you a thing if what people are saying. I wish it was Kamala Harris, and it's your Trump supporters who's doing it, and I can do it. That's not good. And like Andy says, I got to agree with him because he kind of said that same point. They are doing it, and I can prove it. And it's supposed to be these loving Christians who are saying this shit. It's on video. They have them doing it, and I'm saying the same thing. The other side. It's both sides of this. Trump is not innocent. I don't care, and I'm not saying this is that he deserved what happened. It doesn't. And Howard Stern saying that he hates everyone that votes for Trump. He's just as fucking bad, dude. If it was somebody else that said that they hate Kamala Harris, this would be on the #1. Everybody be talking about it. But because he doesn't like him, and most of Hollywood doesn't like him, but they used to give him money, take his money back in the day, and I will say that's the fucking truth. Because James, I was surprised about what he was going to do. I thought he was going to go on rant. I even told James, I'm going to be straight up honest with you, watch what you say, because I don't want somebody to attack him. Or Andy, because they're right on the right more. Andy's he's not as much as James. But James has already have issues already that we deal with people saying shit. I don't want somebody to take a shot at James. And that's how fucking sad it is that it's getting that way. That I have to warn people on my fucking show because idiots out there are telling people that they wish that Trump would die. And that's crazy. Just like I don't want anybody saying I want Kamala Harris to die. I don't want anybody to really die unless they deserve to die. And and some people believe that Trump deserves to die. Some people think Kamala Harris. Clinton running her mouth yesterday. She's getting slammed right now for what she said. But people are saying the same thing. If you read on Fox, why couldn't it have been Clinton? That's the same shit. Trust me, you do realize after Trump was shot the first time that somebody tried to run into the barriers a week later to go after Joe Biden. So it's the same shit. If Joe Biden would have got killed, I guarantee half of their base, Trump's base, would not be sad about it. Just like when Dianne Feinstein died, people were laughing about that shit. I saw it with my own eyes. So what I'm saying is it's not about good or evil, but I will say this on James Fat, there is something fucking going on that the Secret Service is involved in, and that's as far as I'm going to go because I don't want to, them coming after us, because you saw Eli Musk said something today, and they're investigating him. So that's why I kind of said to watch what you say, because they could say we're saying something but there's something that is going on. And I don't think certain people want Trump to win. and I don't know who they are, and I'm not going to start saying names because I don't want somebody knocking at my door tomorrow or the next day or James's house. But I will say it's kind of convenient how it's 60 days apart, and me and James predicted this was going to happen again. I mean, it was so obvious. That's one thing I will say. James predicted it. So did I. Said I won't be surprised around October, September, something was going to happen, and it did. This time it can't be that he faked it. It really happened. The crazy thing is it going to be the next time? The only thing I'm worried about is that, and I hope it doesn't happen. I hope people quit doing this shit, because I know somebody's they're already making threats to them. Both sides are doing. They're already talking about it. Been a bunch of death threats. I'm just going to tell you something. History repeats itself, and I'm going to warn everybody on this. You are pushing people to the edge. I don't care what side they're on. This is getting bad on both sides. The Civil War thing may not happen, but it's getting pushed to that direction, and I hope it doesn't. God, I want people. I'm not advertising for it. I don't want it, but this keeps happening. And I know we saw what happened. Something else happened with Israel today. People are starting to crack on this in this country, and I'm talking about all together. I'm not talking sides. I don't want it to happen, but I'm very afraid of what's going to happen in November, and I have said this. I think because of this second attempt, or if it happens again, or any kind of things, I think they should postpone the election for another month or two so shit cools down, because this is the second attempt in 2 months. And I'm not trying to advocate to get anybody. I don't care what you say, because it needs to happen. Because if it happens again, you could shake your head all you want, something bad's going to happen. And it's getting that way.
Don't you see, man? You're falling for their shit, bro.
No, I'm not falling for it. You're falling for your own. Let me
exactly what they want. They want to not have the election because they're going to get creamed.
I don't care about that. I don't want somebody to get a shot at. And that's going to happen.
I think what this whole situation is that we have to. It's not party. It's not what's going on. You got to look at what's causing this hate. I think that's really what we're trying to get at, is the fact that it doesn't matter if it's Harris, Trump, Republican or not. What is causing people to go to this fullest extreme? And then why, if you figure that part out, then why? And I think we're saying that we really think there's more supernatural situations happening.
It could be a possibility, but some of this stuff is planned. It has nothing to do with supernatural. There's people who know what they're doing because they've been doing it forever. This wasn't the first time they've tried to kill a president. This has been going on for a couple hundred years. So, this isn't like, oh, there's all these plans. There's people who are knowing what they're doing. And I agree with you on that part. But I don't think it has anything to do with the crazy. They're already saying that the first attempt, Iran was involved in it. So there's more to it. There's countries who hate us, and people keep forgetting this.
But what is causing that hate? That's what I'm trying to come at.
Because they don't agree with what we agree. Okay, look, like China, they don't agree with what we do in this country. People need to realize Russia doesn't agree with what we believe in and what we stand for. They don't believe we should have freedoms. Muslim countries don't agree with how we're living. They think we're living an evil life in America. And a lot of them, I'm not saying all Muslims, but a lot of them do agree with that. Some people in other countries in Europe and North Korea, they don't agree with how we're living. They see us, look at Iran. They have us as the enemies. All their movies, my friends show me, they have us as we're the big bad enemies. America is not the bad. I'm just showing you. Why? It's not just that. We're hated.
Why?
Because why? Really? Why? What have we done in other people's country?
Why does Iran hate us? What do they call us?
They're calling us, we're devils to us. We're straight out devils. That's what they call us. We're evil devils.
They call us the big Satan. You're saying it has nothing to do with evil, nothing to do with spirituality?
That's their belief. They believe we're evil.
Exactly.
Most of the people here believe they're evil, right? So what's the difference?
But you're saying it has nothing to do with that. You're wrong.
Their belief is different than in most of the people in America. They believe that we're evil.
The whole reason that the Muslims hate us is because they don't. It goes all the way back to Abraham. It's all has to do with the Bible, bro.
Chinese don't believe in God. They don't believe in anything. They just don't want to. They want to run the world. It has nothing to do with God. The Chinese. I'm talking about China. China's a different story. Russia's a different story. They want to run the world. Russia's always wanted to be number one, and that they've never been it because we progressed faster in all these countries.
Actually, what is China's religious belief?
They're mostly they don't believe in anything.
They're communists, so they worship the state. They don't allow them to believe in God. But you're missing it, bro. You're thinking too small. You're thinking too small. You're thinking about individual countries, individual politicians, individual parties. You got to think bigger than that. This is a spiritual war. It's good and evil. That's what it is. You got some countries that line up on the good side, some countries that line up on the evil side. You're breaking it down into Democrats and Republicans, saying, oh, yeah, well, Democrats do this, but so do Republicans. So what?
They do.
There's evil Republicans. I said that in the beginning, bro. You're missing the point.
But they probably think that, but I'm saying they say the same stuff about us. We're not the heroes in their country. They're saying the same shit.
I don't
We're
care.
The bad people.
I don't care.
I know
I don't
you don't.
care
I get it. I get it. You don't care. That's the problem.
It doesn't matter what they think.
Like this. Don't look at it as a God and Satan thing.
Yes.
Look at it as a good and evil thing with beliefs taken out of it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But look at it. If you're in another country and you believe we're bad, they're saying the same thing as we're saying about them. Am I not right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. And I agree with you.
It doesn't
matter. I'm saying it's got to go, but it's got to go past that point of why do they hate us? Well, they think that we could be religious fanatics, could be the power, could be any of that, but something is causing them to think that way, is what I'm trying to say.
What do demons do?
What do demons do?
Yeah, what is Satan known as?
In most religions, he's bad, but not everyone.
Lies, correct?
Most religions.
What demons do is they lie. They try to mislead. Why do they do that?
But they always say, not everybody believes in the devil.
I don't care what everybody believes. Why do demons do that?
To mislead people.
To lead you away from God.
Not everybody believes in God. Islam doesn't believe in God. They believe in another power.
Good.
You could not believe in the sunset. The sun's still going to set. It doesn't matter what you believe if you're wrong.
If it's God,
but you can't. But that's a religious belief, and I that's your opinion, Owen. That's fine.
And that's why I'm trying to say that don't put the name God on it and just keep it as good and evil. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I agree with Hershey, but I'm saying in your case with not believing, look at it as in good and evil. Doesn't matter what you label the good, doesn't matter what you label the evil. You see what I'm saying?
But I was showing you the other example is they're probably saying the same shit about us.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I'm showing a two-faced coin. I wasn't saying I don't agree with him, but they probably get said the same shit. And you think that they all think they hate it? It's because what they get feeded by their governments that we're evil people. That's I didn't get to say that part of it.
Right.
Their governments make us that we're evil demons. We're their devils in their and we worship the devil in their minds.
But what's causing them to think that?
Yeah, and that's because of their government does that though. North Korea, he thinks he's a god, and he hates us, but he teaches his people to hate us.
What makes him think he's a god? What makes him think?
He thinks he's a god. His family, he's always thought he's God. That's what their problem is. They believe
but what makes them think that? That's what we're trying to.
I don't know. I'm not North Korea. I don't live in North Korea. I don't know why. He's always thought his family's always thought there's some kind of spiritual being. North Korea. They think that that's what they believe, and they even worship him as a god.
And what would make him think that, or mislead him to think that?
Other countries that say that we're bad.
Destroy other
people. Being could possibly want to mislead you, to make you think that you are a god.
Okay.
That's
A
what we're
country
trying to
that's
say.
been doing that for like, he's been doing, his whole family's been like that though.
Right.
He was raised like that.
In
So
your
you gotta blame
religion,
it on his family.
one of the tenets of your religion is that you are your own god, correct?
That in certain beliefs of Satanism, yes, we're gods, but that's the Church of Satan, and I have my opinion. Any church you give people money is, I have a problem with. And that's even with I don't hate the Satanic Church, but I have my opinions. Look,
Who is this the symbol of Satanism?
it's
What
okay.
name?
Satanism, okay, but it's Baphomet. But you also know Baphomet is also the angel of death, right? So he's not really bad or good. He's just a symbol, and
according
that's
to who?
But where I'm coming from is we can leave all the names of God, Jesus, all of it out just for this conversation, is what I'm saying.
That's what I
just say good or
coming.
evil. Doesn't have anything to do with family generations or anything. It has to do with some spiritual situation is giving these people the idea that, one, to hate somebody for whatever reason it is, or one, to believe that you're more superior than everybody. And if it's making somebody like the guy from North Korea, he thinks his main goal is to just take out everybody else but himself. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what Napoleon did. That's what Genghis Khan did. That's what Hitler did. They did the same shit. And that's what Stalin did.
And what drove all them to do it is what I'm trying to say. What drove each one of them to do that?
Some people just want to see the world burn.
Right. But there's got to be something behind them.
There's not going to, okay, but what I'm saying, this is what everybody thinks. There's got to be a reason.
Are you saying they were just born that way?
I think, yes. I believe that there's some people,
So that's where the difference is between what we're believing and what you believe. You think they're born that way. And
Hitler was a narcissist. They proved it. So he had a chemical imbalance.
But we think that these people are being used as vessels by the demonic side of things or the evil side of things. Is that correct?
I'm on the bad side that you guys think in your religion, right?
But no, it has nothing to do with my religion.
I don't know. I'm showing you an example of what I'm saying is, right? I don't agree with half the shit that some of these people do. So, big, bad, evil me, I don't attack people for no reason. I know the difference between killing somebody and not to do something evil to people. I hate sex offenders. I hate people who beat women. I hate rapists, and I hate pedophiles. I'm totally against this. Most people in my religion is too. What I'm saying is,
what do you think drives those people to do that kind of shit?
I don't know, because there's people on my there's people on my side. There's people on every religion who has some kind of pedophile. Because we could go all day in the church.
With you.
Yeah, so I mean, what I think is going on, and this has been going on, I think that eventually things can get so bad that there's going to be a breaking point. And it's happening right now. It's so negative, and I'll admit this world that we live in, that something's got to burst, because you can't, like, I believe there's a balance. You can't have total good. You can't have total bad, but it's so bad. Everybody's so fucking negative, and we're making it negative. The news is making this happen, and the politicians are making this happen. People are making this happen. It isn't what's going on. It's we're getting pushed every day in bad situations. With COVID, made people insane. People can't handle sitting in the house like they could in the 80s and 70s. We didn't have TVs and shit like that they have now. We had TVs, but we didn't have phones. We had to go outside and fucking do something, and that's what the problem is. Most of these fucking people don't know the difference of that. They flip out if you talk to them wrong. Hey, can you move out of the way? I need to get something. They take it like you want to fight them, and they try to fucking kill you. This is a problem that's going on since the last 20 years. Look what happened, and it started around Columbine when somebody shut up their school and no one wanted to listen, and they fucking told people for 2 years they were getting bullied, and no one did anything because they wanted to push it under the carpet like the last 50 years that everybody's been doing, because I'm one of these kids that got bullied. I got bullied all the time. And to the point where I wanted to kill myself. So I know where this is coming, and I'm going on to this, what this is about. So what I'm saying is, that human beings are getting to the point that we're not going to the moon anymore. We're not doing nothing but fucking trying to destroy ourselves now. And we've been doing a good job of it. And that's what's going on. It's who's bigger and whose belief
And
is
we're
better.
not disagreeing with you. That's the thing. You think we're disagreeing with you on that.
No, I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to make a point is that it's a breaking point of everybody's losing it, bro. Everybody.
But there's objective truth, old boy.
But it's always got to be religion, and half of the time that's the problem.
It's not.
It is.
Listen, you said earlier that there's pedophiles here, there's pedophiles there. The difference is there's only
Everybody's
one.
religion.
Hold on, let me talk. The difference is there's only one that actually calls for fucking child sacrifice. The three that I talked about, Baal, Baphomet, and Moloch, those three piece of garbage, demonic pieces of trash, all three demonic bastards, child sacrifice. All three. So
what's that have to do with Islam and all them? Because they don't believe in that. That's because of Allah. So what's that? What's your excuse on that? So that's what I'm saying. They're the ones that killing people.
Tell me, hold on. Tell me why that when we go over there to fight in a war, that all of those fucking guys over there are raping little boys. Tell me why.
But they praise Allah. They don't praise any of them. They're praising a different God. I don't know. I don't believe in their religion.
Like I said, if you drop religion out of it,
yeah,
and look at it from a bad side and a good side, or an evil side or a good side, there's something driving these people with no religion involved in it. There's something driving these people to do it. And in my opinion,
it's instigated.
It's because you have people that have spiritual beings on them that are causing the division and causing the people to hate another person. And you could call that spiritual being a demon, you can call it an evil ass, whatever you want to call it. But there is something that triggers these people to cause the division, no matter what religion they are. There is something out there spiritually that is fucking with people's heads, man, to cause all of this
possibility,
all of this nastiness, man, and stuff like that. Just like Hitler, was he, driven by, was he born that way? Did he have something happen to him? Well, then you go back and look, they say, oh, he was molested as a kid. Not saying that really happened, but I'm saying you look at a serial killer and you say, well, he was molested as a kid. That's why he did it. But who or what was on the person that molested him? What caused that person to do it? You see what I'm saying? Was there something evil that attached to this person that caused them to molest a child? You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with religion as much as it does bad warfare and spiritual warfare, period. No matter what you believe in, no matter if you're a Satanist, no matter if you're a Christian, no matter if you're Islamic, all of them have a good side and all of them have a bad side. You know what I'm saying?
But there's some people who just hurt people. They're also been clearly found that they're crazy. You got to remember that. So,
well, I mean, I'm not saying that that's not true, but what causes that craziness?
That's the chemical imbalance in the brain. Like Jeffrey Dahmer knew what he was doing, and he knew he was doing bad. He just liked doing it. It's something with the brain. There's some people who are born to kill you.
So that's what the difference is between what James and I are calling it as in spiritual, and you're calling it as chemistry.
Basically, if you get taught,
you're calling it chemistry. We're calling it spiritual.
Not everybody. There's some people who just believe everything they're told and just do it too. That's the other thing. There's ignorance too. I'm just saying it all together, and they're doing it for whatever God they believe in.
But what's causing the person that's making them like that to hate others?
Because, where it starts, right, is you get somebody like Hitler, he hates people, and then he spreads hate, and these people get to the point where they believe him.
I agree.
And that's what's kind of what's going on in North Korea.
What makes Hitler hate?
I don't know what happened to Hitler. I know he didn't have the best childhood, but that's not an excuse. He
But I'm
decided
saying, is it a chemical imbalance, a mental imbalance, or a
maybe
spiritual imbalance,
because
or all three of them mixed?
yeah, that could there could be a possibility of all three, and I'm not
That's what
arguing
I'm
with
saying.
what I'm saying, but and I'm not saying all Muslims are bad because not all of them do all this.
Well, no,
They have
I'm
a
not
certain
either.
site. Yeah, it's everybody has a certain fanatic group that take this shit to the next level of just murdering each other and blowing each other up
Right.
because they.
And there's something driving those people to do it.
When you have a lot of money and power, you get made to do shit.
And
That's what that's what a lot of it's got to do with. There's
and
stuff
I'm
you
not
can't really
disagreeing with
talk
you on
about.
that. But what makes
If
a
I tell
person
you I'm
feel
going to
like
kill
they
your
need to
whole
kill
family or
somebody
you're going to
over
kill
money?
somebody, you're going to do it.
But what makes somebody feel like they need to kill somebody over money and greed and say power?
Well,
What's
here's
driving?
why. When you live in okay, I'm not saying in America, but if you live in like somewhere in like Mexico where the cartels, you got to do it or you're dead. That's why you're going to do it. And you don't know any better because you live on the street.
Right.
And I'm
But
just showing you an example.
what's driving those cartel members to be
Money,
that
greed,
evil? Okay.
money and greed.
Right.
Money is the most evil thing in the world. Greed.
And
I'm
there
just
you
saying the
have it. You
truth.
just said it.
Money and
You just
greed.
said it. You just said it. You said evil. That's what it is. It's evil.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it comes in a form as. It's
Yeah.
evil.
Yes. Yes, I agree with that. It's an evil
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. It comes in the form of evil, and there's
Yes.
a reason why that money was put here. There's a reason why this is that. There's a reason why that all these people in this country, there's a reason why the media is pushing people to divide and hate each other to the point of trying to kill somebody. And it cannot be just because the person is who they are. It's because there's something that is influencing these people to get to such a point that money and power means that much that it's worth killing or snuffing somebody out.
Is money of God?
Money
No.
is not. Money is man. Money was made by man.
What did Jesus say about money?
He didn't like it.
Said a couple different things. It's easier for a rich man to pass through the eye of a needle than to get to heaven. Remember that? Also, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, render unto God what is God's. So right there, he's telling you money is not of God. Money is of the enemy.
I agree with you on that. I totally agree
You
with you
said
on money.
money is evil.
Money is evil.
Put those
Money
two
is
things
evil.
together.
But you have
Evil?
to have it.
The devil.
When Cain killed Abel, was it because the devil told him to do it?
In a way,
No, he didn't.
because
It
he
had nothing to
found
do with it.
his sacrifice wasn't good enough for God.
He was jealous.
And it was
Abel.
jealousy.
But
Jealousy
at that
is
time, there was
right?
no heaven or hell. Remember, there was no savior then. There was no Jesus then. So that's what I'm saying. Is
Been a Jesus since the beginning of time, my brother.
Cain
No, but
did
there was
exactly
still,
what.
but there was still good and bad though. Then
I get it. I understand that. But the devil didn't tell Cain to do anything. He did it on his own. And then when God saw him, he was scared. But he marked him with a mark, but no one could ever do him. But he wasn't sorry for what he did. It never said the devil told him to do it. The devil they say what he had to do with the apple and stuff like that. We don't know
no, but
what
something
it was.
drove him to do it though.
Jealousy, greed, and hate.
What creates jealousy?
Adam and Eve did when they bit the apple.
Would jealousy
Which
be
was
good?
what?
Could be
Which
evil.
was what? Hold on. Which was what?
You weren't supposed to eat the apple because you learned
But
knowledge.
And who talked her into it?
We don't know if it was the devil or not. We don't know what it never explains who it was.
But
That's
it
true.
was something evil though, right?
So they say, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Or
but you do realize that Lilith, that Eve might have not been the first woman, and Lilith might have been.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I've heard all that. Yeah, I've heard all that, but regardless,
and then the church took that out because they didn't want to hear about it.
If it was Lilith, Eve, Kathy, Bobby, it doesn't matter. There was something that pushes to people to hate and to have greed and to have all this nasty stuff, that's out there. And it's a spiritual thing is what we're saying. I mean, yes, I look at it from a God and a Satan side, but that can be taken out of the equation and say, you know, there is nasty negative energy out there that is created by something that is causing all of this shit to happen in the world around us. And there's only one religion that actually speaks of it. So then that's where I'm at with it. But it doesn't matter. Any of these people, man, all the way back to the tree of knowledge, all of that, there was some kind of influence by something negative that caused whatever to happen throughout history.
I get that. If you believe that, that's fine. That's totally fine. I know that part. What I'm saying is, we've been doing this shit even when they weren't. Okay, you believe in God, right? They didn't even listen. You can't blame the devil for everything, because Cain did it on his own. People did stupid shit knowing they were getting watched by God. Eve knew not to bite the apple, knew not to talk to the devil, and still did.
But what made him do that?
Adam went with it. That's the truth.
But are you saying that's just a chemical reaction or just a physical reaction by him? Or
they knew better. They knew better.
Exactly.
Hold on. What introduced sin to the world? Let's go to the root of it. What introduced sin?
When they bit the apple is when everything got sent. But that's what they're saying.
Okay, so before that point, before the devil got involved and convinced her to eat the forbidden fruit, before that point there was no sin.
But didn't they get told not to touch the apple by God?
Of course.
And they still did.
But there was no sin before
I understand that
point. That's what introduced sin to the world.
Actually, if you want to be correct, that's not true. The devil basically sinned when he didn't want to be in heaven. When he fell. That's a sin. He went against God's.
That's not mankind, old boy. That's angel kind.
I know that, but you said what was the first sin, and technically that was the first sin. He didn't want to listen to God no more, and he got thrown out of heaven. Okay, mankind, you're right. That, but I'm saying all together, the first sin was supposedly the devil.
Yeah, but man wasn't made. Man wasn't made then either.
So if the devil introduced sin and evil to the world, he is responsible for sin and evil, for introducing that to us in the first damn place. God gave us free will, so we are free to make bad decisions. And you know that the devil, through demons, lie and try to mislead you to commit sin to separate you from God.
Okay.
How is anything I'm saying crazy then?
Okay, but here's the problem with that. Even though the devil fell, and Adam and Eve were not regular humans like me and you. They were not. That's true. They lived longer, and they were and Adam was living. And if Lilith did exist, the reason why Lilith got kicked out is she did not want to be less equal to a man, and that's even in the Jewish Bible, and they believe that Lilith did, but and she was cast out of there too. But what I'm saying with Eve is she knew not to bite the apple, and so did Adam. Adam knew better. Whatever you want to say.
That's my new name for Karen is Lilith.
Yeah. But Adam and Eve knew how bad the devil was and still listened to him. You can't just blame. I get it what happened with the devil and he fell. And the Watchers is a whole other story. They left on their own. You can't blame them. He left because they fell in love with the men of God, women of God. And they did it on their own. The devil had nothing to do with it. So, I mean, what I'm saying is,
you're creating straw men left and right.
I'm showing you different examples, is what I'm trying to say. We're our own destruction, bro.
Nobody can hear what I'm saying because you keep talking.
Well,
you got to stop.
You keep interrupting me, so I'm just saying.
All right, well, you just go ahead then, and I'll sit back here and wait until you're done, and then.
No, I'll let you go. Here, I'll go. I'm not trying to argue with you. What I'm trying to give a point is we're fucking ourselves. We need to take responsibility for ourselves. And then I'll let you say whatever you got to say. We know better. We know not to hurt people, steal, cheat. If we take the money or we don't take the money, we know better. And if you want to use an excuse, that's fine. That's what everybody makes. It's always somebody else's fault. The point is, you're sinning because you know you better. And the funny thing is, why does it always take that to get its lowest point to believe in God? You're supposed to believe in God, bad, good, or anything. It seems like everybody always uses that. Oh, I got to the last point of my life, and why didn't you believe in him in the first place? I'm not saying that in a bad way to argue anybody, and Andy just shook his head in agreement with that, is we know better. If you believe in God or any Bible, I'm saying any religion, it says in the Bible what you're not supposed to do and what to do. You're not supposed to kill people. You're supposed to love people. I'm talking about all religions.
So what causes a person to kill somebody else?
I'm not a fucking expert to know this. Sorry, I don't know.
That's what we're debating here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We're debating
I'm not trying to say I know.
We're debating on, is it a spiritual thing?
It could be.
When I say spiritual, I don't mean God and Satan. I'm talking about stuff that we can't see, stuff that exists outside of our realm. Is that what influences a person to kill another person?
Why does it always have to be something influenced to knowing what we know better? We get taught to do good. Yeah, you got taught to not kill somebody, right, Andy?
Well, yeah.
So are you going to go out and kill somebody? Did the devil tell you every day to go out and do something?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I can't be influenced by something to do that.
But I'm saying on your straight, regular mind, with all the stuff that's going on, even though you vote for Trump, have you ever...
You're making the point. You're making our point.
Okay. But
you're making our point now. No, I've been taught not to.
Okay.
So something would have to influence me to do that, for me to go to that extreme. And we're saying that that influence is something that's negative energy. I won't call it even evil. I'll say negative energy.
True.
There's something negative that we can't go through, or something that we can't put a finger on or take a camera shot of or anything like that, that is causing people to be this fucking crazy. So what is it? Is it something spiritual and it's attaching to us and all this hate? Because all of us are paranormal investigators here, and we all believe that people can create their own paranormal, right or wrong. Okay.
I believe that. I will 100% agree.
So if you have something influencing you to hate, and then you pass it on to the next person and the next person and the next person, you have this whirlwind of negative energy going on where everybody's hating everybody else. There's something that caused that hate to begin with. Is it chemical? Is it our mind, like as in something that's missing there, or some kind of chemical imbalance? Or do you think that it's something, we call it demonic, but is it something evil out there that is causing all of this hate in the world? Or is it that people are just born that way? Is what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't think everybody's born that way. I think people get turned in a certain way. They get influenced in a certain way. But I do believe there is some people who are born what you would call evil.
So the influence is what we're actually debating.
Yeah, it's the influence of what they were doing. You can't say it's all religion, because there's people who listen to people they grew up with. You keep
saying religion. I'm not bringing religion into it.
Okay, you're right. Anything you, okay, even if you don't believe it, you believe in we came from evolution. If you believe that, and there is people who believe that, but anybody who believes in any kind of religion, they're wrong. That's and I'm going to go out and do something wrong. That's stupidity.
I'm taking religion out of it. And I'm trying to say, we believe that paranormal is vibration. We believe it's, what else? Frequency, vibration, frequency. Pretty much every single piece of equipment that we use is based on,
I get it,
frequency and based on vibration. Okay.
But not everybody believes that.
What's that?
Not everybody who does paranormal believes that too. Am I right? They always believe.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, but I'm trying to come up with the point that we have energy that surrounds us. Yes. Our body is energy. Okay.
Yes. I agree with you.
So there is something that can throw off that energy that we have to make us hate somebody. I believe it's a demonic source, and you believe it's influenced by other people. And then I go deeper than that, and I say, well, what's influencing the influencer? You see what I'm saying? And that's where we're just going to, at the end of it all, is we just got to figure out what your stance is on, I think this is the influence. You're saying it's people being taught that or pushed to believe that. And I'm saying that it's back to the very root of it, that it's something negative that is doing that, is where I'm coming from.
Maybe it's in our blood. Maybe it's something with our families that.
So chemistry, that's what you're saying.
Yeah. It could be, it could be that, or it's just something that's in our body, like with, how some people believe we came from animals. Maybe it's the trait we still have. Maybe it's an instant. It's not that.
And that's where we have the difference at here, is that two of us believe it's spiritual and you believe it could be something as in chemical or something like that.
Instincts.
That's the debate. It has nothing to do with religion or God or anything else. I mean, we think that, but to take it away to make it fair for you to debate, take the religion out of it and say, I think it's spiritual. James thinks it's spiritual. You think it could be chemical. You see what I'm saying?
I think
and that's where chemical, the debate is. Am I right or wrong on that, James Hershey?
Go ahead.
Am I saying that correctly without using God or anything like that? Am I not kind of getting there or what?
The problem is you can't have emotional responses be because of chemistry. What is hate? Can you touch hate? Can you pick hate up and hold it and feel it and look at it and see it? No. What is love? Can you pick love up and hold it and touch it and see it and smell it? No. But I bet you would agree that love exists and that hate exists. So by doing that, you are agreeing that there is a spiritual element that exists, no matter what you want to call it. Now, in love and hate, we have the two extremes of the spectrum. We have good, love is good, and you have hate, which is evil. Okay, so now we have good and we have evil. Now you say that you don't think that it's a spiritual element, you don't think it's God, you think that it's something they've been taught. Well, in order to be taught, there must be a teacher. So the point is, who's teaching the evil lessons? Now you can say, well, this guy did, or this guy, or Joe down the street taught it. Okay, but where did Joe down the street get that idea? You take it back to the root. The root goes all the way back to the garden, when sin and evil were first introduced to mankind. That's the devil. Okay? God is love. That's what the Bible teaches. God is love. Love is good. That would mean that the devil is hate. Hate is evil. That's what all he does, is he lies and he causes people to hate each other and to fight with each other all the time. So it's absolutely, no matter what you want to say, it's absolutely a spiritual warfare battle going on between good and evil, between love and hate. Because one side wants you to hate everybody. Their whole problem with Trump, it all revolves around hate. They all hate Donald Trump. Trump derangement syndrome, they call it. What is Trump's thing? Love. He loves his country. He loves the American people. He wants to make life better for everybody. That's all he talks about. Love versus hate. Good versus evil. It's literally as simple as that. You can't say that a spiritual element doesn't exist, because a spiritual element exists in everything, because emotions exist in everything. And emotions are not tangible physical objects that you can hold. They are ethereal. They are spiritual. That's why Jesus said, when he talked about, hey, you can't eat that because that's unclean. And Jesus said, it's not what you put into your mouth that defiles you. It's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. Now, what comes out of your mouth, you can't see. It's ethereal. It is words. It is thought. It is the emotion behind the thought. If hate is driving your speech,
I don't know. I had some youth that was pretty ugly.
If hate is driving your speech, that's what makes it evil. If love is driving your speech, that's what makes it good. You take this back to Democrats versus Republicans. I never said it was Democrats versus Republicans. If you remember correctly, in the very beginning of this, I said 95% of all of them are dirty. I said there's good Republicans, there's bad Republicans. There's good Democrats, there's bad Democrats. We know there's good Democrats. Look at RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. Those are two Democrats that I absolutely respect and would vote for. Not every Democrat is evil. And I don't blame most of the idiots that are voting for them, because they've been misled. They don't know any better. I'm not saying every Democrat voter is evil. What I'm saying is evil is driving this agenda. Evil is in office. Plain and simple. Even after this man has been shot at twice, they tried to kill him twice. They're still, to this day, saying the same shit about it. MSNBC blamed him for the assassination attempt. His rhetoric. Kamala Harris came out and called him a fucking threat to democracy again after the second assassination attempt. Is that love? Is that good? Or is that evil?
Okay. Andy, do you think Trump's is all 100% good, though? You've already said your opinion on this one before. I don't. I think Trump causes a lot of his own problems. Not with what happened, but he's not innocent.
I agree with that.
I never said 100% good. I said God's chosen. That's different. David was God's chosen. David raped, pillaged, cheated.
Moses.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Noah, same thing. God chooses imperfect people for his perfect plan every time.
To answer your question, I agree. I think Trump gets himself in trouble with his mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's where people have a problem with him at. That's why I asked my buddy to tell me politically what has Trump done that you do not want him in office. And he couldn't come up with anything. Everything was based on, oh, he's a rapist, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, you know. And I'm like, what did he do politically that is so bad? And the only thing he could come even close to was saying that he didn't treat COVID the right way. I said, okay, now what has Biden done or Harris done that you don't agree with? And he named off a couple things politically, I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So there's a reason, man, that these people are wanting to take a person out that there's a reason why people, I don't like certain traits about Trump, but I think he is the best choice for us because where his heart is. That's what I look at when it comes to people. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that Biden has a heart at all for the American people. I think Biden has a heart for his own greed and nastiness, you know, his money. I think Harris is the same way. I think she is a woman that wants the title president and being the first woman. And I think that she will do whatever it takes to get that because she worries more about I think Biden's money and she's power. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think they are. Well, think about it. Does Trump need money? Fuck no. Does Trump need power? Fuck no. So yes. What exactly is it that they are so scared of that they are causing this kind of hate for a person to think they're going to kill this guy? You know what I'm saying? It's because they're doing so much evil shit behind closed doors and funding it and stuff like that they will drive. Just look what they've done to the country in the last, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, man. They have driven division through every aspect of life we can think about. They started out with, you know, when Obama hit office, man, it was black or white. It was, then they started about, you know, they've done everything from color to race to mailmen, the post office divided, police, gays versus straights, religion versus non-religion, white people, and you know, then they going back to all the way to Civil War and stuff, and trying to bring that up again, and they've tried to divide us in every aspect that they can to drive division between us because we're easier to fucking control when divided. Is what it comes down to. Trump has a big mouth. Trump has a big ego. But the thing is, man, he's not political. And that's another thing I like about him is he has no reason, man, to hold that office that he doesn't already have, I guess is what I'm trying to say, other than that.
He's the only one that could have done it.
Yeah.
Who else could have done it?
Nobody else has the balls.
You are facing people who are trying to destroy you every second of the day. I went through it in the beginning. They impeached him twice, 4 different, I guess you would call them indictment trial-like things with hundreds of charges against him. They tried to assassinate him twice. They talk shit about him 24 hours a day on the news. They say all kinds of horrible stuff about him. Anybody else would have withered underneath that pressure. Can you see how perfect God's plan is? That he chose a badass, a tough guy who would get up after getting shot in the head and say, fight, fight, fight.
So hold on, let me ask a question. Did you see, this is what I felt, man, as an empath, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but when I was watching what little bit of the debate I did, there was times in there where Trump looked defeated. Like he was just at a point that he felt like, Jesus, man, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Or was it, I just don't want to be here because this shit's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It was one or the other.
I think it was just a realization that this is a pointless conversation that I'm having.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
That 3 against 1, it doesn't matter what I say because all they're going to do is talk shit and say stupid things and just lie. You know, and I think it was just, he was getting to the point where he was like, what do I do here? You know, I can't get a fucking word in edgewise. No matter what I say, they're going to lie about it. And nobody will fucking do anything. You know?
Honestly, he should have never even went on. He wouldn't agree to going on Fox. Everybody said he should have never agreed. He knew what was going to they were going to do. I knew what they were going to do. It's obvious. And he shouldn't. I'll admit to that. He got he got triple teamed.
Once again, perfect plan. God's perfect plan, because by going on there and getting beat up like he did, and all the fucked up shit that happened to him because of it, right? By doing that, what did we learn? We learned that Kamala is going to use the same script every time. She's not going to answer the questions. We learned that ABC was in the tank completely for them. We got that whole scandal now about they gave her the questions in advance. They promised her they were fact-check Trump and not fact-check her. That whole thing, that affidavit that came out. We learned all of that, which made them look stupid. Yeah, Trump had to take some punches, but that's how it always works. He goes in there, he takes the hits, and then we learn horrible shit about the other side. So yeah, politically, maybe it wasn't the best thing in the world to make him look the best to go in there and do that debate, but look what we learned from it. And look what happened afterwards. His poll numbers went up. Everybody says he lost the debate. If he lost the debate, how come he's doing better in the polls than he was before the debate? You see what I'm saying? God's perfect.
Everybody said that he lost the debate, but he made better points. That's what they were saying by normal people. I'm not going by what, it's just people who don't have a party. They said that she won, but he had better points on what he was talking about. He made better point, and the last thing he said was the best because he won the coin toss. But he said made more sense. I'm talking about regular people. I'm not talking about party.
That doesn't make any sense.
How can people don't see what you're saying, dude? I know people said he lost. I know people who are Republicans that said he lost, and they're still going to vote for him.
How can you lose a debate if you made better points?
I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm saying that's what they're saying. That they're saying it because some of the stuff that he was going on, and he did go on and on about, and that's what he always does. He loses his temper, and he doesn't, and he can't control it. And that's true. Look what happens on Twitter. And Andy shook his head. That's some of my problem. He stays on the fucking computer all the time, and that got him in a lot of trouble because he talks a lot of shit, and he says a lot of bad shit, dude. And I'm not saying recent, but in the past he has. And you're right. He's not a politician, so he doesn't watch his mouth. And now he does because he's got into it more. But before, he didn't know how to talk. And they don't like that, bro. And that's true. I'll give you those points. They don't want somebody like Trump because Trump doesn't fit what their whole agenda is. Bernie Sanders came out and said it. It's all about money. He said it about his own party. He could have ran against Trump. They didn't want him to. So and this is coming from him because he's going to die soon. You know, I'm not saying he's sick or not, but he's in his 80s, so he doesn't care no more.
The only thing I heard one person say one time that I totally agreed with when it came to Trump was, we have somewhere down the line of history watered down what the president should be like. In other words, they're supposed to be sophisticated. They're supposed to be, watch their mouth, watch their temper, stuff like that. And that's what we've had for ever now. You know what I'm saying? But do you really think that back in the day when we had people like, Lincoln, if you want to bring him up, Lincoln was out there beating the shit out of people, fighting in the street and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he was a tough son of a bitch. And that's why people voted for him. You know what I mean? Was one part of it. So where I'm coming at is that was the only thing that I agreed with somebody about, is that Trump is not the textbook definition that we have somewhere come up with that a president should be. I think that the president should be somebody, if I would say, okay, the perfect president, if I had to think about it, I would see somebody in some blue jeans or some bib overalls, man, with a fucking, a hat on and out there fucking working their ass off, you know what I'm saying? And the regular, factory or the farm or something like that. And then, but they're smart enough to know, I'll tell you somebody, Hershey, Mr. Vance, for instance, in school, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Vance was a good old country boy, grew up, man, well, he's doing it now, livestock, and he's a retired teacher and stuff like that. But the thing was, he made look like he is the dumbest sumbitch that crawled out of the pig trough. But he could debate and pretty much squash just about anybody that would want to argue politics with him. You know what I'm saying?
Would you both agree that Trump is in a war with the deep state and the press and the Democrats?
Absolutely is.
Hold on. So if you are in a war with these people, does it make sense to not talk shit and to not be combative and fight? No. What happened to Trump in that debate, this last debate, was he wasn't Trump. He wasn't his normal self. He held back because she's a woman and he didn't want to be accused of being sexist. So he didn't act like Trump in this last debate.
Well, I'm not saying that everything he's done. I'm talking about stuff where he's said some things that were pretty shitty, man, like, and mocking, people and stuff. But at the same time, these people pissed him off enough that he said that. So there's that fine line there where I wished he could just be, and he showed in the debate that he could, where before you open your mouth, man, think about what this could cause. You see what I'm saying? Don't hold back on telling them they're a piece of shit, but
he could have destroyed them. All he had to do was look right at the moderators and say, do you guys want to debate me too? I mean, this is 3-on-1. This is ridiculous. This is shit that the American people are tired of. We can't even have an honest discussion about what's going on in the country and how to solve it because you dickheads keep ganging up on me. If he would have been Trump in that moment, he would have won the debate, according to everybody.
You know what I have heard, and I wonder if this is part of it, man. I don't know who it was by. I think the 1440. That's the media I listen to a lot of. Non-biased, man. They'll call both sides out. Mostly they're calling the Democrats out. But anyway, that he has a little bit of PTSD from being shot at, and that he's not saying that he's scared or anything like that, but then, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it is still scared, but I don't want to make him look weak, because I don't think he's a weak person at all. But I think that maybe he's watching what he's saying because so it won't drive somebody else to get to that point of trying to shoot him again. You know what I mean? He would lose. I mean, you got to think, if you were, there's a difference between losing an election and dead. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between in prison and dead, you know? And so did that make a mental mark on him that he thinks before speaking now, and was being a little bit more reserved, maybe because of that? But the thing is, I agree with you, Hershey, that he should not be reserved, but there's a way to not be reserved and not call people names and stuff like that. That's the only thing I don't like, is being nasty. Let them call him names and show how shitty they are as people to do that. And then him not, you know, there's a way to do it where you could still make your point, still be aggressive about it, still be who you are, but maybe watch some of the name calling. That's the only thing I ever disagreed with him about. Was it was funny, some of the things that he said and shit, and some of it was right. But you're getting into that schoolhouse elementary shit there where you're like throwing bad names at each other. You know, you're a fucking liar. You're not, you know, what's her name calls Pocahontas. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're a fucking liar. You are not native, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, but then the Pocahontas was not too bad, but I'm saying there's been a few things that he said, man, you know, but then again, and another side of me says, like, when people like, what's the one fat bitch's name, that Rosie O'Donnell, you know what I'm saying? When he would say shit about her, she deserved it. You know what I'm saying? To a point. But would it make him gain more people that he doesn't have yet if he didn't talk the shit that he does sometimes? Like the name calling and stuff. If he just kept it to being aggressive, right in their face and stuff, do you think that some of the people that hate him now, because that's the only excuse they could come up with. They can't tell you he's done anything politically wrong. They can't tell you that he's done anything like, you know, to put our country in danger. They can't tell us any of that. All they can bring up is, well, he said blah, 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 and he said this and he said that. You know what I mean? And it's like,
those people aren't going to vote for him anyway.
Okay, well, I mean, and
anybody who's not on board at this point is never going to vote for him.
Okay, I mean, I can see that.
And anybody that's not on board at this point, they're just fucking stupid anyway.
Well, honestly, I'm saying, what if he would have never?
It's the truth. Like oh boy, gets funny. He's like, but it's the truth.
I don't think somebody's stupid because they don't vote for Trump. I'm sorry, I don't agree.
It's stupid to vote for the people that ruined our country, dude.
I'm not voting for anybody. I don't want to vote for anybody. That's my.
You always do this. You just keep blah blah blah, and nobody can hear me when you do that. It cuts the audio out. I've told you that 100 times. You can look at the economy when he was in office, the economy when they're in office. There's a big difference. So anybody that's voting for the economy that fucking sucks and where people can't afford groceries, I'm sorry, you're fucking stupid. That's just the truth. How do you not look at the economy Trump had and say, yeah, I want that again? How do you say, yeah, give me this Biden economy, or I can't even fucking afford to feed my kids? You got to be dumb, man. Or so filled with hate that, I mean, most of the women that are voting for Kamala, the only reason they're voting for her is because they want to be able to murder their babies in the womb. That's not me saying it. That's fucking them saying it. You can go and read their posts all the time on X, on Facebook, wherever. I'm voting for her because Trump wants to take away my women's rights. You don't have the right to murder another human being. I don't give a fuck what you say. That's evil. Right back in the beginning. Good versus evil. What it boils down to. We should probably wrap this fucking thing up. Because it's like going on 2 hours at this point. So y'all do your shout outs or whatever.
Hour and 24 minutes.
Hate That is exactly what it's based on.
Okay.
And I want to give my shout out to the ones that don't let the hate control them. And I want to give a shout out this week to, I can't say their name, but there's a couple families that lost their homes due to fire in Gettysburg. And the thing is, they have to give a shout out to one of the parents of that, because they lost their home at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. The place went up in a blaze. It was an apartment house, and the person showed up to work the next morning after all this happened. And I have to give a shout out to that person to have enough belief in the human race that they would have nothing to worry about. And these people went from homeless and nothing to now they're in a place with a roof over their head. They got plenty of food, clothes, the whole 9 yards. So the shout out goes out to the people that are still, no matter what party they are with, that they still have love out there for the other human being, no matter what their political agenda or their political party is, you know. And that's the people I want to shout out to, is not to be consumed by the hate, and they still do something with love. And that's the thing, the people that still love, that's who I give the shout out to tonight.
I want to give a shout out to the people in California because of the fires. I know some people that were affected by it. And one guy started it, asshole. And a lot of people were devastated from that. And I want people to realize this is what this show's about. I don't hate James. I don't hate Andy. So if somebody, gets mad because we had her, this is what we do. And it's actually good, because you get to see us fight other than you. I'd rather have us three here arguing about something, especially this guy that loves Corey Feldman and Pauly Shore right here in the corner and wants to be in a band with him. Randy Handy over there, Uncle Andy, what do we call him? Than us to argue, than you guys going out and fucking killing each other over billionaires that in the end don't care about you. And I'm not saying they hate you, but Trump ain't doing this. Biden ain't doing this. Kamala Harris ain't doing this because they love us all. There's always power and money, and that's what it matters. And I think Trump just cares a little more than they do, in a little bit, in some ways. But I want us to fight and argue over this than somebody getting killed over it. And I'm sorry that people have got attacked, killed. Trump's been shot at. People threaten to kill Kamala. I don't want anybody to die over their opinions. And we're having this too much. And I'd rather sit here and, go back and forth with somebody than have somebody get shot because they think that that's going to be everything that solves everything. It's not. It's going to make it worse. It's going to make it a hell of a lot worse. You're going to cause a lot of problems. Whatever you're going to do, please don't do it. And that being said, I'm glad you guys listened to us on War Screwed. I want to thank you guys for listening to us on Spotify and in YouTube. And remember, this is not worth your life. There'll be another day. Be nice to each other as best you can. Try to do this. Go out and do your own show and see where it goes. But I'd rather have you do that than the alternative. Because I'd rather us be the villains than you, somebody else getting hurt. And that's all I got to say.
Donald Trump is a billionaire. But to say that he doesn't care is ridiculous. He doesn't have to be doing this, dude. He could be relaxing, enjoying his life, playing golf, not having people trying to shoot him, not having people trying to throw him in jail, not having people trying to destroy his businesses, all that kind of shit. I mean, he's doing this for us, for the country, because he loves us. That's the only reason to go through all of this shit, is love. He doesn't need the money. He's got more money than he'll ever spend. He doesn't need the power. He's the biggest celebrity on the planet. He owns a multi-country, an international business. He's the boss of a shit ton of people. He doesn't need power. He doesn't need any of this. He doesn't even take a salary for being the president. All 4 years he was president, he never took a salary. He donated it every time. He's doing it to try to fix the country for all of us. And ask yourself this, for those that hate him, would you do it? If you were in that position, would you take all of the hate and all of the abuse that he's taken to try to save the country? Would you have people shooting at you and still keep going to try to save the country? Would you be facing the rest of your life in prison because of some trumped up bullshit charges and still try to save the country? It's God's perfect plan. Trump is the only one that could have done this. He's the only one tough enough to do it. Anybody else would have withered under all of this. Look how hard it is. Most people won't even speak out for what they believe in because they're afraid somebody's going to call them racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever. So they sit there on their hands and they be quiet and they don't get in the fight because they're afraid. That's the majority of people. None of those people that criticize him could have stood up to even a tenth of what he stood up to so far. And he's still going. Because he's God's chosen. And he is going to save this country. And yes, they're going to kick. Yes, they're going to scream. Yes, they're going to lie. But God wins. Period. We'll catch you on the next one. Till I speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.